One of the most common questions we get, and probably the most important, is what are the costs of the program? So we're going to get right into that. I'm going to move my face out of the way, and we're going to look at the Home Partners site first. Home Partners is the primary investor we use for the lease with option to purchase. There are other investors that offer a similar program, but their costs are typically higher. In a situation where your scenario makes more sense for one of these other investors, we can discuss their costs specifically, but we want to focus on home partners and the costs getting into a home partner's home. First is the application fee, the only required payment up front. Right now, until March 31st, the application fee is only $35. At the end of March 31st, it is possible that they increase the fee back to whatever the market normal was prior to the $35 offering. Here in DFW, where I'm based, the fee was $99. So the $35 application fee that covers your entire household, all adults in the house can run credit and background checks with just one $35 fee, is a massive discount, and I hope they choose to keep it around. But we'll see at the end of this period, this trial period, if what they decide to do. Now, if you're looking in other markets, I work with many agents all around the nation. So we're going to talk specifically about Dallas. Most of what I talk about is applicable to these other areas. Many of them had a $99 application fee. Some of them may have been $50. But if I don't have your direct answers regarding your Metroplex, I can get those answers for you. So once you're approved, they're going to approve you for a rent rate. And you can see here they show the rents on the houses. There's a ton of houses. You can sort them from low to high, and you can see rents as low as $1,200. Now, a house like this, they are unlikely to buy. They're most likely to go out there and find out the foundation is bad or something of that nature. But you can see that there's a ton of homes in a variety of price ranges. Typically, what I find fits most is a rent rate between $2,200 all the way up to about $3,500. We can find homes lower, but they are rare, and the good ones go very quickly. So let's sort this back just by newest. And you can see that these hit the website pretty quickly. They come straight from the MLS and they come to the website here. So here's a new one in Garland. We're going to use that as an example. The rent on this one is $2,900 a month. You're already approved for the $2,900. You tell me, Sean, I love this house in Garland. Let's make an offer on it. I'm going to present that offer to the seller. And as soon as the seller accepts our offer to buy the house, you would then be asked to send your security deposit. The security deposit is 2 times monthly rent. So at a rent rate of $2,900, your security deposit is $5,800. If you have pets, there would be a pet deposit due at that time as well. There's no other payments due until we close on the home, clean it, fix anything that was found on the inspection, and it's time for you to start your lease. You'll pay your first month's rent at that time. Say that you're moving in the middle of the month, then you'll only pay half a month's rent. They will prorate it for when you move into the home. If you say, hey, I only want to lease this house, you lease it for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and then you move, your security deposit is fully refundable. You just need to leave the home in clean move-in condition for the next tenant. If they find that you were negligent or put a hole in the wall, they're going to charge you for those things. Typically, the charges are pretty small. For example, I lived in a house through the Home Partners program, and I know that I had carpet stains in that house and a couple other things. I tried my best to clean it, but it simply wasn't possible. We ended up getting our full security deposit back anyway. I've seen some people with $90 withheld from the security deposit. But for the larger items, if you really tear up the house in some way, they're of course going to withhold some of that security deposit to fix those items. If you choose to buy the house, your security deposit goes towards the purchase through as part of your closing costs. or it can just be credited to you as cash after closing. They're not allowed to put that to your down payment. You would have to save your down payment separately because the seller can't pay your down payment, but closing costs are cash at closing that can be paid by the seller, and they can do that with your security deposit. You can see here estimates for rent. So the rent is locked in at this rate, and year 2 it will go up a little bit, year 3 it will go up a little bit. But these right to purchase prices are estimates. What we know for sure is that your right to purchase price is going to increase by 5% each year in most markets. Dallas, for example, is 5% each year. So if the home is purchased for $345,000, then your right to purchase price will be $345,000 plus 5% in the first year, 10% in the second year, 15% in the third year, and then add in closing costs, any renovations that needed to be done, or repairs. Also in the house that I lived in, they replaced the water heaters. They replaced both water heaters in my home, and if I were to buy that house, I would have paid them for the replacement of the water heaters when I went to buy it. You don't pay a dime unless you buy the home. We could have asked them to replace the carpet when we moved in. We could have asked, in fact, they did replace the carpet in my office, just one downstairs office in that home. And we could have asked them to paint walls in the house, and we had them paint walls in a bedroom upstairs. I didn't pay for either of those. Had I chosen to buy the house, then I would have paid them back what they paid for those items. Now, any repairs we find on the inspection, we attempt to negotiate for. That negotiation can go either way. Maybe we aren't able to get a large amount off, but that will help your right to purchase price in the future if we can negotiate down for what was found on the inspection. So these numbers are always an estimate, and when we send a property in, they're going to show you these numbers with specific estimates for the repairs, estimated repairs that would be found on a home of, say, 1990 build, or if there's a home that was a 2017 build and that's what you choose, then it's unlikely that the repairs are going to cost much, so they don't estimate as high on a newer home as they do an older home. They don't estimate as high on a smaller home as they do on a larger home. So they will show you that they're very transparent with all of their fees, and that's one of the reasons I like this over the other programs, because it's all up front. The only other fees to take into consideration is monthly pet fees. If the home has a pool, there is a monthly maintenance, or excuse me, a weekly maintenance agreement on that pool, and they charge an additional $100 a month on the rent. But somebody comes in every week to clean the pool. They'll make sure the chemicals are balanced properly, and they'll get out those leaves and things like that so that you don't have to do that maintenance. It also protects Home Partners' investment. They're buying a house with a very important piece being that pool, so they want to make sure that it remains in good shape. And there's also a fee for your utilities. Many of the utilities will stay in Home Partners' name. You won't have to set those up in your name. Home Partners will bill you the utilities, and as a convenience fee, they charge just $7.95 a month. As a benefit, you don't have to pay the deposit. You don't have to do the work of setting those utilities up. So overall, it's pretty convenient, but it's just one of the quirks of how their lease works. And that's really all the fees I can think of. You can often overstay this year 3. You can stay into a 4th year. Some markets, if you stay a 4th year, you can still purchase the home. You'll have an estimate for rent and the right to purchase for both year 4 and 5. Texas has a law that won't allow them to offer a right to purchase for more than 3 years. So because of that, if you overstay past year 3, you will simply be leasing the home and you won't have the right to purchase it at that time. That's just about it. If you have any other questions about the fees, I'm happy to answer them. Just put them in the comments of the video here, and we'll get you taken care of. Have a great one.